Do you want the truth? Most people have absolutely no idea of what true happiness is. They haven't gone near it in their entire lives. Do you know why? The answer is kind of disturbing, actually. It's because true happiness is becoming so one with God that you just melt completely into love. Yeah? You can't separate happiness from spirituality. If you're intuitive, you already get this. You already know, well, if I'm going to make myself happy, I'm going to do it via the spiritual path. I'm going to do it via spirituality, awakening, God, consciousness. I realize that there's lots of different things in life that I can go for. There's lots of different things that I can invest in. The thing that will really satisfy me on a deep level is this work that will allow me to feel myself. And in that way, when I say myself, I mean with a capital M. So imagine feeling yourself so much that you feel like God, because that's what you really are. Yeah, because God sits underneath your ego. Really, your ego is just an illusion. And happiness is when that ego structure dissolves into God and you feel yourself. So, if you're curious, right now I can feel God in my experience and I feel happy. And I can see, that's an experience of happiness. Happiness is extremely spiritual. And I remember when I realized this, a couple of years ago, I remember telling one of my buddies, we were on a run together, and I said to him very sincerely, dude, if you want real happiness, do the spiritual work. Go deep with the spirituality. Don't just meditate for 5 minutes a day and listen to Eckhart Tolle for a bit. Really, pour yourself into it. Or really, it's more like pouring God into your experience of life. And now, having reflected, because I've done just loads of contemplation, man, I realized I was really just telling myself. I was trying to tell myself, I was projecting onto my friend, dude, if you really want it, do this work. Now, if you're wondering, that is not an attempt at me, trying to convince my friend to do this and to be happy and stuff, because, dude, I've done a lot of that, okay? I've done the whole spiritual ego thing where you have to tell everyone about this work. This was more so just a chill, genuine moment of dude, if you're really into it, invest in this, yeah? Because I can't really explain it to you, but I just know. And that's the thing. So even now, what I'm telling you now, I'm sharing my knowing. It's not my belief. No, it's a deep knowing. And really, it's a deep experiential knowing, yeah? I also realized, I don't think I wouldn't have the confidence to share this if I didn't have the knowing. Because I don't like talking about stuff that I don't really know about. Yeah, this is why just a general principle of mine is unless I have it or experience it for myself, I don't really talk about it too much. It's kind of just what you do when you listen to your wisdom. Because your wisdom, your higher self, it knows when you have experience of something. And then it also knows when you're kind of imagining something or hoping to have something. It really knows the difference, your intelligence, what you are, you can't lie to that. Yeah, maybe you've heard the body doesn't lie, You'll experience some things that first of all, you didn't know were possible. But secondly, when you feel them, sometimes they can be so much. It's almost the love is too intense. Even just yesterday, for example, I noticed this. In the evenings, I can make myself really happy if I decide to meditate instead of Netflixing or distracting myself, yeah? I'm mindful it's not always relatable to talk about, feeling deep happiness, because some people, really are just doing their best to even feel some kind of happiness. So I do see that. But I will go into this regardless. So even just yesterday, last night, for example, I had a moment where I was okay, I can sit down, and I really felt a lot of energy. Yeah. And I was if I meditate right now, I'm gonna feel a lot. So what I did is I brushed my teeth, and then I went, because I knew afterwards I might just want to go straight to bed, because I like to go to bed after meditating sometimes, because I sleep so much better. Anyway, so I brushed my teeth and I sat down just there actually, and I just felt happy. And I felt really happy. I felt like rapture and joy. And I just felt man, I just feel happy. And I know why. It's because of the spiritual lifestyle, the purity, the consciousness work, and now I'm meditating. And here's the thing. What I experienced was like, it was good, it was strong, it was nice, it was pleasant. But it was like maybe like a 2.5 out of 10. Because this is the thing, you'll get this as well if you've been on the path for a little while. What you see is that spirituality, what it leads you to, is not just happiness. What it leads you to is what we could call ultimate happiness. Yeah? And if you've ever experienced this, oh my God, like you wouldn't believe it. It's extraordinary. It's almost too much. Yeah, it's such intense love. It's such high consciousness. And that's a key word to mention here, consciousness. Because you feel this insane level of happiness when your consciousness is very, very high. So if you're trying to navigate the spiritual path and you're sensing, you've got this intuition, I'm going to be deeply happy. I was about to say one day, but you know what I mean by that? Like you're going to do this work and you are going to get more happy. And you know that when you do feel that, it will be because you've raised your consciousness. Yeah? You've increased your spiritual connection. Like, damn, man. You might spend some time chasing these states of happiness. You might, like, listen, man, I used to meditate before I did absolutely anything. Because I could see that, like, I'd have a bump in consciousness. And what I basically tried to do is just manufacture this increase in consciousness by, like, mechanically meditating before things to give rise to, a better state. Like, the truth is, at some point you will surrender your formal practice of meditation a bit so that your life can become more of the meditation. It's like a broader, longer meditation. And just so you know, when I say that, I don't mean you're always perfectly mindful or you're always conscious. Absolutely not, man, no. Multiple times throughout the day, I notice like, I'm in a lower state right now. Okay. I might like go for a nap or something, or I might just kind of, I don't know, I literally might just sit until my state changes. So on the one hand, hear this, take this in, but on the other hand, be where you're at. Yeah? Don't worry about trying to be happy all the time. Definitely don't be chasing those states and those meditation highs. Don't worry about being conscious all the time. You can be unconscious and that's cool. Yeah? The thing to remember from this one is if you really want to actually be happy, if you want to experience more happiness and you want to experience some of that ultimate happiness, realize the way you do that is through spiritual work. It's through spirituality. Burn that into your mind, yeah, and feel it. Because basically what most of life is it's distraction. Yeah, it's distracting you from that. Now, that's not bad. That's the way it's meant to be. You can even find happiness through that distraction. It might not be ultimate intense bliss and happiness, but you can, but remember, you can find this through life. But in my experience, if you want to go directly into like the goo, like the goo in the middle, the sweet, pure happiness, really develop a firm understanding that the way that you do that is through spiritual work. Yeah. When you tell other people, if you want to do that, about what you're experiencing now, because you've been doing, the work that you've been doing for like 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what you'll tell them is, I live an extremely spiritual life. I have an extremely strong connection to God. God is everything, and your level of consciousness determines how much God you can feel. And of course, God is pure happiness. The very last thing I want to share with you is, like, notice, I can tell you this, but it doesn't mean that I'm perfectly happy all the time. I'm really not. The people that I used to think, man, they must be really happy like all the time. When I met them and when I spoke to them, they told me, I'm not. I have monkey mind. I suffer. That's the reality of being human. So don't get it twisted. Don't project some bullshit. Don't idolize. Don't imagine. Stay grounded with your feet on the floor. Be with whoever you're with. And just realize, like, dude, everyone's suffering, man. But that doesn't mean that you can't pursue this work like a mofo and go really hard with it. Go really deep with it. And then experience a lot of this happiness that we're talking about. Experience lots of consciousness. Experience lots of God. You can still do that, but don't have silly ideas. Stay grounded. Okay? My friend, I love you. We're going to call things there. Take care. And as always, my friend, peace.